Hi there. My name is Olatunji Shobodu, and I'm here again to discuss the subject of leadership. Uh, I'm passionate about leadership. At EMET Leadership Academy, we are passionate about leadership. I remember our tagline is leaders nurtured by truth. Leadership nurtured by truth. Okay, I want to start a series today. Um, I see some of you have clicked on some previous recordings. I've been, trying to sort out my streaming, connection. I hope it's okay. For now, I'd deal with. I'll try and perfect it later. I don't know what's been happening. Even though I saw that some people have shared one or two of the previous attempts that I made. Those attempts are not, they are not complete. I haven't even started talking about the subject matter. So I hope that those who were sharing actually took time to listen before sharing, but I appreciate it. But I think this one would be better to share actually. So what is it that I'll be dealing with over the course of the next couple of broadcasts? And the subject is tough leadership. Tough leadership. What do I mean by tough leadership? I said if you look at the summary that I gave in the post, I said leadership is not piece of cake. Leadership isn't piece of cake for the leader, and it isn't piece of cake for the follower as well. Unfortunately, what we find all over the world today is an increasing attempt, to basically just water down, what is a very important role in every sphere of activity all across the world. Without leadership, nothing happens. With bad leadership, your guess is as good as mine. But leadership is spiritual. Leadership was instituted by God. If you look closely at how Jesus ran his race, you would see that leadership was fundamental to his ability to deliver on his mandate. What did he do? One of the very first things that he did was to set up a team of 12. And you would ask, why did he set up a team of 12? Well, that's because leadership is that important. Without leadership, his mandate may have been accomplished. I doubt it, though. But if he had accomplished his mandate, he would have shortchanged the impact of his mandate. What do I mean? There will be nobody to carry on the work. If all that he did was to go to the cross without any of his disciples, people that he trained deliberately, remember the mandate he gave them. He said they should go into all the world, precisely to make disciples of men, which was the same thing that he did. When he called them, he said to them, follow me, and I would make you. Now he says to them, go and make disciples of all men, of nations. So leadership is very instructive. Leadership is very important. And leadership is more serious than we have taken it. Unfortunately, everywhere there is bad leadership, we all suffer. Even the leader ultimately suffers. But I guess the suffering is obvious with the followership, perhaps more than the leaders, at least up till the time that the followers decide to do something about their leadership. So tough leadership is what I have called it, tough leadership. And I want to start from an encounter today that I believe that we can learn from. Very instructive encounter. Jesus got to a point in his walk with his disciples. At the point they grew from 12 to 70, and we understood they grew even further to 120. But there was a core of 12 whom he called himself. Okay, so in John chapter 6 and verse 60, let me read just verse 60 and 61. And he said, many therefore of his disciples, when they had heard this, said, this is an hard saying, who can hear it? Who can hear it? When Jesus knew in himself that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, does this offend you? So they murmured. They said, this is a hard saying. This is tough. Who can hear it? I mean, who can stand this? They were offended that how could he make certain statements? Yes, you are the leader, but what gives you the audacity or the right to speak in the manner that you are speaking? They said, who can hear this kind of things? This is tough. This is tough. So you see right there, tough leadership. It wasn't, a hunky-dory sort of situation between leader and follower. It wasn't pally me, I pally you, that kind of thing. It wasn't a scenario where the leader was laughing, the follower was laughing, as though everything was okay. It was a scenario in which the leader was frank, indeed brutal, in putting forth the truth. And it was a situation in which the followers knew that what he was saying, he wasn't going to shift his ground, and that he meant what he was saying. The leader meant what he was saying, as bad, as tough, as difficult as it was for them to handle. He had no regrets about what he was saying. He was committed to the truth. Tough leadership there. Tough leadership there. Tough for the leader. How many can really speak the truth today? How many can give it to their followers as it is, as it should be? How many can lay down the truth without being afraid that the followers will leave? How many people can do that? How many leaders can do that? Do we still have, such category of leaders out there who are not about pampering the following when it comes to the truth? What kind of leadership are you into? The one who is scared at how the following will interpret what you said. The one who is scared that perhaps, the people might turn back. You might lose your following. The one who panders to the wills of the following. Is that the kind of leadership that yours is? Are you that kind of a leader? You are not tough. Tough in speaking the truth, in standing on the truth, in advocating your convictions with strength, with vigor, without apology. That's what Jesus was doing. And I dare say, who better or who best to learn leadership from if not from the master himself? From the master himself. He said, gentlemen, why are you murmuring? What have I said that you are murmuring? So you see, followers do murmur, and they will murmur when you stand on the truth and you refuse to shift ground. At times when you stand on the truth, it looks as if you are proud. And so that's how they viewed his statement. Who is this man? Who is this leader? I mean, imagine how he's talking to us. How can he make such a statement? I mean, that's tough for anybody to bear. Who can bear this kind of statement? But that's leadership. It's not about playing to the gallery. It's not about saying what the followers need to hear. It's not about pleasing the following. Indeed, it's in the interest of those who follow the leader to hear the truth, to be told the truth, and nothing other than the truth. It's in their interest. It's in their interest. The problem is many fail to understand that. They can't appreciate it. Because it's not everything the leader says that at least at first you would understand. But a good leader does things only in the interest of the followers. Because in the serving of the interest of followers is the serving of the interest of the leader. Any leader who doesn't understand that hasn't started. Any leader who conducts himself or herself contrary to that doesn't understand what leadership is about. So it's tough. It's tough. And it's understandable. No regrets. He said, why are you offended? Why are you murmuring? Why are you offended at the truth? Why are you offended at the truth? What I have said, the truth that I have spoken, does it offend you? Does it offend you? He wasn't about to apologize for it. He wasn't about to shift his stance. He was just also responding to them. Why? I mean, what's the big deal about what I have said? I'm merely telling you the truth. That's all I've done. All I've done is to tell you the truth. And that's what I owe you, by the way. That's what I owe you. Now, it is tough on the leader to speak the truth. Why? Because one, it takes courage to stand on truth, especially as a leader. Because as they say, if you have no following, then you are just taking a walk. You are not a leader. So to stand on the truth, knowing that it may not sit well with your followers and that they can react by leaving, requires a tough on the leader. It's tough on the leader because the world, the average person, doesn't want to hear the truth. Truth is tough on everybody. When you stand on truth, it is tough on everybody. That's part of the character of truth. All right. So knowing that it typically doesn't sit well with people and they could get offended, for a leader to still decide to stand on truth is tough. It's tough. And we have seen that it can be tough as well on the following. Why? Because the truth is being told. Two, because Abiding by the truth that is being told will cost the following something. So the leader-follower relationship is characterized by that. A true leader-follower relationship must be characterized by truth. By truth. And that truth should begin with the leader. If it means losing your followers, so be it. But to do leadership on the foundation of falsehood is to get it wrong from the very beginning. Is to get it completely wrong. And it's dangerous and it's hurtful and a disservice to those who will follow you. Make no mistake, some followers will stay because they know the truth is the truth. They want to walk by the truth. They would rather follow a leader whose words they know to be truth. All right. And leadership has to do with the future of people, with the lives of people, what a person becomes, he or she becomes based on the quality of leadership that they have been exposed to. And that's how heavy the responsibility of leaders is. Now, to sacrifice or to handle the lives, the very future, the destinies of people, to build it on a foundation of falsehood is wickedness, is a disservice to them. So the truth is important. And it has to start with the leader. Because the leader gives the cue. The followers look to the leader for a cue. So, what do you do in your role as the leader? Do you operate by the truth? Or you are sensitive to how the truth, when told or if told, offends your followers? And what about you as a follower? Because we're all followers of some leader. We ought to be followers of some leader. How do you handle the truth? Do you get offended? Is it tough on you? Do you regard as too tough? Do you in fact leave or consider withdrawing from the leader, or refuse to take the leader seriously? Although you are marking time, you are present, but you are not there. You are not following. You can be present without following. How do you approach the truth? How do you embrace the truth? The truth is for the benefit of both the leader and the follower. The leader-follower relationship must be based and built on the foundation of truth. And it reminds me, if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? The foundation has to be truth for leadership. If it is not there, that relationship will amount to nothing. That relationship would be like the relationship with the Pharisees, who are people who know the truth, by the way, who have a lot of knowledge, but they rather say it than do it. But here is one who says it and does it. And if you are a leader, you should understand that it would not necessarily sit well with all of your people. But it's okay. It's a choice that the leader has to make upfront to stand on truth, to stand on truth. Ultimately, the truth wins. Ultimately, the truth wins. Some people will say, well, ultimately, just like John Keynes says in economics, he said in the long run, because the economics like to do that long run analysis. You would hear in the long run, and someone said in the long run, we're all dead, In the long run, the truth will stand. You can't kill the truth. You can't do anything against the truth. You can only work for the truth. Ultimately, truth wins. Ultimately, it is that foundation upon which a credible leadership can be offered. And it is the foundation that the follower requires to maximize the benefits that the leader has to offer. If I were a follower, I would prefer that the truth be told. I want to hear the truth. Anything short of that will undermine the benefits of my following the leader. And if I were the leader, I would stay on the path of truth in spite of the offense that it can create. And truth would offend, irrespective of how you try to paint it, how you try to make it, you want to reduce the impact. But truth is truth. It isn't so much how it is delivered that gets people hot. It is that the content of it, the truth itself, is hurtful. It's hurtful. All right, but it's hurtful in a good sense because it enables you. Reality dawns. Reality dawns. And if you can get it, well, you know what they say. You know the truth, it will set you free. So I want to start with that. And there's so much to be said, but leadership is tough on the leader. It's tough on the follower. What you have today, where both parties are trying to make themselves feel good, isn't quite what leadership is about. When truth is not in place, it's a joke. And a lot of leaders today just need to recommit themselves to the truth. The world, I keep saying, is where it is today with all the challenges because of the quality of leadership that we have. And you can see that there aren't many people who tell the truth. Leaders, even of nations. And that's where, all of that has left us. That's where all of that has left us. I'm going to continue, hopefully tomorrow. I'll try and do this on a daily basis. There's a lot of ground to cover. I haven't done this for a while, but if you will come with me, invite, your friends and colleagues. Let's share some words of truth over the next couple of days. Let me close by, something that happened recently. There's a session that I planned. I haven't quite run it, but I did send out notice to, some of my contacts. And hopefully I'm going to do it in about 2 weeks. And it's titled, Brutal Truths About Leadership. Brutal Truths About Leadership. I didn't quite get too many responses, but I think it's understood because, when you hear brutal truths, I don't know how many people want to listen to that, but it's okay. It's not about the number. It's about who has value for truth and who is willing to confront it. And I hope that there will be many more who will be willing to do that, so that we can address the foundations of leadership across different spheres and different responsibilities that, for the most part, out of course right now. All right, there's a lot of work to be done in that regard. And so it's time to consider leadership from the standpoint of the fact that it's a tough responsibility. And it's a relationship characterized by toughness. The toughness, not because we don't like each other, not because we disrespect each other, but because we respect each other by ensuring that the relationship is built on what? Truth. On truth. All right, so I see you tomorrow, and I hope you join me. We'll continue from here, still talking about tough leadership. This is part 1. Take it pretty much as the introduction. Tomorrow we'll continue, and I'll still be speaking from the same encounter, where the master spoke and the follower said, "This is a hard saying. Who can hear it, or who can bear it?" Where they got offended and they murmured against it. And the leader knew that they were reacting to what he has to say. All right, some words for us to think about. Let's meet again tomorrow. Take care. God bless you. This is Tunji Shobodu again, founder and CEO, EMET Leadership Academy. Take care. Bye-bye.